Kim be able to indulge into such a horror franchise.
Nope. We killed Michael.
My grandmother set the fire.
No one told you.
Told me what?
Michael Myers is alive.
A man couldn't have survived that fire.
Well, I'm very excited to see both of you. And Jamie, the last time I talked to you in Toronto for the last Halloween film.
The last thing I thought I would be doing this year was a Halloween movie.
You mentioned you didn't expect to return to the franchise at all. Yeah. And now you're going to do the trilogy.
I know. And I will tell you something. Most people don't know this. I did not know that Halloween was going to be a trilogy.
Oh, really?
I only found out that information while they were editing Halloween. So we had filmed it. There was never a conversation ever about a trilogy. So, you know, it started with its intention, but I think as soon as they started making it, they were like, this is, you know, feels like there's more story to tell. So I'm just happy. I just keep staying out of the way and, you know, sort of astonishings happen. And I need to just be grateful, which I am. Are you kidding?
Yeah, but back in 1978, did you expect this, one standalone movie, Kim be able to indulge into such a horror franchise?
Nope. Fantastic, right?
Not at all.
Not a second. Not 1 second. You don't think that way. I was 19 years old. We shot it in 17 days. Are you kidding? It was over before we began. It was so fast. And then, no, I didn't.
Right. And Andy, you're participating in such a huge, iconic horror films in the movie history. And I know an interesting fact that this film is both of your film debuts. 2018 one, that was also Andy's film debut. And Jamie was, the orange one was also yours.
Yes.
And did this franchise change your life?
It changed everything about it. I still can't believe that I get to play in the sandbox of Jamie Lee Curtis and David Gordon Green and Danny McBride and the whole bunch over at Blumhouse Universal. Everybody, it's been such an honor. One of the things that was so special is, and that Jamie actually was the one that it was her idea, is she thought it would be a good idea for me to have the same credit she had in 1978, which was and introducing Andi Matichak as Allison, and for Jamie it was and introducing Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie. And it's something that I remember she sent me a screenshot of it before it was even in the film, and I just immediately teared up because it's so iconic and special, and for her to share that with me was just a testament to her grace.
But it also wasn't something that was done. So it's not a credit that is often used anymore. Because Andy would have been afforded starring Judy Greer, Andi Matichak, which is great. But you could only be and introducing one time.
Yeah.
And I did try to convince Andy and her representatives that that's more special than getting the second card in a billing block. And introducing is its own thing. And anyway, I'm glad that happened. I remember that very well. Andy.
Very special to me.
Yeah, and also it's very special to see the original cast return to this new Halloween feel.
Fantastic, right?
Talk about it. I mean, after 40 years, that's amazing.
What was shocking about it was how emotional we all were.
Right.
Kyle and I cried. Nancy Stevens and I cried. Because remember, we've lost a lot of people in 40 years.
Right.
I'm talking about filmmakers, Deborah Hill, colleagues of ours on the movie. We've lost a lot of people. And it's important to honor that and remember that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm happy you're so happy. Your enthusiasm is very clear and it's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Sending hearts from Taiwan for you.
Hearts back to you from Los Angeles.
Hi, good morning, David. Well, it's morning here, but I believe it's evening over there.
Yeah, I'm in a dark stage. I don't even know what time of day it is. But good morning wherever you are, and good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm a big horror films, and Halloween is always a classic. And I know you were crazy for the trilogy. You mentioned you've watched that for so many times for the original version in 1978. Why was that?
Well, I think there's something that I just always related to. I found identifiable about a normal place where anybody lives, and this could happen to anyone. It wasn't supernatural. It wasn't Freddy Krueger in your dreams or Texas Chainsaw Massacre out in the middle of nowhere. It was something very specific and haunting. So you could see yourself in your neighborhood in that movie. So it affected me much more than other horror films, which I felt were more escapist horror. This one felt really grounded, and that triggered something very primal in me as a young moviegoer, and we're trying to re-access that with our audiences today.
But why trilogy? I mean, especially this Halloween movie is the 12th movie of the Halloween series. Wow. Did you feel pressure that you're going to make another? And what makes this one different from the other?
Well, I think the opportunity became when our last film was successful and we had so many ideas that we didn't bring to the table there, that we had this whole buffet of opportunity and other ways we could go with characters and narrative. And we wanted to expand the story of Haddonfield and examine the concept of fear in new and innovative ways. For me, there's the simplicity of the story of Michael and Laurie. It's always the center of our universe. But what about these other characters, Tommy and Lindsay, that grew up traumatized by the same event in 1978? What about Charles Cypher's character, Sheriff Brackett, who lost his daughter? And these other characters became really fun as a writer to explore these ideas. And then the fact that we could convince these legacy performers to return to these roles after so many years was very cool. It was a very cool reunion, I'll say.
Oh, so that's why you want to make a complete story of it. I mean, a trilogy, right?
Right, and ultimately, we want a satisfying ending. We want to close the door on our mythology that honors the legacy of John Carpenter and Deborah Hill that they created in 1978. And here, after so many sequels in the franchise, we thought a contained 4-part story would be really, really unique to have.
Wow, that's a true love to Halloween series for you.
Right.
Yeah, and especially, nowadays the Asian horror films is so successful. I don't know if you're familiar with the Red Scare. In this movie, did you try to add some universal fear factors in it?
I think what we're examining here is not just the fear of Michael Myers, but is the fear of the monster turning us into monsters. So it's the evolution of community and the hostility as they respond to fear that I felt really compelled to tell that story here. So in terms of cliche fear factors or things that are tropes of the genre, there's some of those there too. It's certainly a slasher movie, and I want to honor the fact that we're there. So every great slasher movie of the 80s, those are inspirations and reference points for us. But the real story here that makes Halloween Kills unique is that it's about the concept of fear as it permeates in the retelling of what the reality is, and often misinformation of what the reality is. So that was part of our game here before we come back and Halloween Ends and conclude our saga between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode.
Great. So finally, can you say hi to the fans in Taiwan and also tell us the best reason to see Halloween Kills?
Well, hello Taiwan. I'm David Green, director of Halloween Kills, trying to motivate everybody to see a horror film in a theater with their friends. As crazy and upside down as the world often is, I think it's a horror movie as an opportunity to go and release that frustration, safely go to dangerous places, scream your head off, have some popcorn, and enjoy the movie.
Thank you, David. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
别忘了订阅我们的频道，打开小铃铛就不会错过任何精彩内容，随时上架。我们下回再见。